All right, guys. So I absolutely love this story for a few reasons. One, because it shows that, even if, there's somebody and I disagree with their lifestyle choices, it shows that regardless of our differences, we can all come together and agree on what should be reasonable and allowed in certain segments of our society, right? And two, this story is just absolutely hilarious. As Jacob Engels was ordered to stop reading from Genderqueer, a memoir, and when he didn't do it, the school board chair had him removed, okay? Because this book is apparently in classrooms, right? It's in, elementary school, middle school, like people are reading from this book, and apparently this book is so explicit that it could not be read at a school board meeting, but for some reason it is in the classroom. Now, what I really love about this video is that this person, Mr. Engels, who's reading this book, is actually a part of the LGBTQ community. So without further ado, I want you guys to actually watch what happened. Take a look.
You're out of bounds. It's unlawful what you're doing right now. There is something very concerning that I think just speaks to the whole disorder that's going on in this board. And I'm going to read a passage of a book that's floating around in your schools, that's been banned from many other schools. And as a member of the LGBT community, the fact that, is that funny to you? I'm sorry. The fact that this is floating around for children as young as 9th grade is concerning. A passage from Genderqueer. Fast forward, we've been dating for 2 months. We've made out. We've had sex. We've moved on to sexting at work. I got a new harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite perfectly. You are going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your...
Mr. Engels,
Yes.
I appreciate the...
No way.
I'd like to continue reading.
No, we're not going to have...
Sir,
I'm sorry.
I want to have your blank in my mouth.
You're
I
out
want
of
to
order,
give you
and if
the
you
best
don't,
life,
you from the
and I want you
chambers.
inside me.
Remove him from the chambers.
Why?
Our kids are reading this. Our kids are reading
If
this.
we can be quiet, I will answer your questions. I understand
You allow
that
this
if that
film.
book is in the classroom, and the language that he just read is inappropriate for this forum. Excuse me, I have the floor. I'm respectful to you when you speak. If you're respectful to me, we'll take another recess. I understand the contradiction here. This is the first time I've heard of this and the board has heard of this. We will look into the matter, and I do hope that that book is removed. Okay? And if not, we'll be back here having this conversation again.
That's right.
But I can guarantee you, I did not know that book was in the library, and I doubt anybody else.
That's
did.
the problem is we
You
don't,
want to be removed from the room.
I don't. I just-
You cannot speak out in the meetings. I
whatever.
just commended you guys. I understand this is emotional, but we're going to follow the rules, or we're going to take breaks, and you're going to lose precious time. Let's take our next.
So yeah, the point is made. How in the world do you have a book like that in the classroom, in schools, that apparently is appropriate enough for kids to read, but not appropriate enough to be read at a school board meeting full of adults, right? And again, I just find it hilarious, and I really think it really drove home the point how somebody from the LGBTQ community, right, decided, you know what, this is inappropriate, right? I'm a part of this community, right? I'm a part of this community that, a lot of people are putting these books out here for, to say, hey, well, we're trying to promote inclusiveness. And we're going to talk about the author here in a little bit, because the author is complaining about their books being banned, but they're saying, listen, I'm a part of this community, and even I know that this is going too far. And this is why I love this, because people are trying to say, oh, well, you're being anti-LGBTQ, and it's like, no, you're not. It has nothing to do with that whatsoever. It has nothing to do with that. It's all about the fact that this is explicit sexual content in school, right? In school. That's what it's about. It's not about sexuality and all this. That's not what it's about. If this was a straight book, I would say, no. Kids should not have access to this. They should not be reading this. Again, I'm fair when it comes to that. And again, I love this because it shows that, even if I disagree with you on some things, we can come together and all agree as reasonable people that, okay, we shouldn't be putting this type of content in schools, right? And this is what has to happen in order to stop a lot of this stuff, right? it's the same thing when it comes to, men participating in women's sports, right? Or biological men participating in women's sports. Women are the ones that have to speak up and say, no, we don't like this, right? This is not something we're cool with. We don't want this, right? We want people to compete based off their biological sex, or if you happen to be a trans person, compete with other trans people. That is fair, right? That is fair, okay? So, in a situation like this, where the book is basically being framed as, well, this is a pro-LGBTQ book, you have to have somebody from the LGBTQ community come in and stand up and say, hey, no, this ain't appropriate, right? Like, I'm a part of this group, but I can already tell you this ain't how things should be done, right? And again, I'm just glad that there are reasonable people in the world that realize that this is not just fake right-wing outrage. These are legitimate concerns that these parents have. Now, the author of this book, Genderqueer, wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post in which the author was discussing the books being banned. Okay, the author saying, these books are being banned, but, queer kids need queer books. And I'm like, well, how do you know a child is queer, right? Like, what are you saying? This is a child. This is a kid, right? A lot of these kids haven't even hit puberty. They shouldn't be thinking about anything having to do with sexuality. They shouldn't be thinking about that at all. That shouldn't even be something that's on their mind. So why they need to be exposed to this book? They can read any book they want when they turn 18, right? Or at the very least, let them go through puberty first, right? Let them go through puberty first. But again, when they're adults, they can read all the books they want. They can get exposed to all the ideas they want to get exposed to. Nobody's saying that the book should be banned from like Amazon, or that nobody should be able to read the book. No, I'm pretty sure it's probably a good book, right? It's probably a good read, right? But the book is explicit. It has explicit content in it. It's, again, if it was a book that was focused on, straight sexuality, again, it would be the exact same thing. There's no bias here simply because it's a LGBTQ plus book. There's no bias here because of that, right? So, like I said, man, I found this to be fascinating, and interesting, and I love the point that was driven home here, and how the school board got triggered over the fact this person was reading this book. And it's a problem that the school board doesn't know that the book is in school, because the person here tried to defend this, saying, well, we didn't really know it was there. Well, that's the issue. You don't know. You don't know what's being taught in your school. You don't know what books and information kids are being exposed to. That's a problem. You should know, right? You should know. That's the issue, right? So the parents should not have to find out from their child that, hey, they're reading books like that. Parents shouldn't be the first to find out before people that are running school know about it, right? Again, that's the whole point. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.